It sounds like we should be talking about Will County rising from the ashes instead of strictly Joliet, because as you said, Joliet is still struggles.
Yeah, and I think, well, except that, let's face it, as, to some degree, as Joliet went historically, so did Will County. The transition that's happened, though, is that with the great population explosion that happened, mostly in the last decade, you know, we went from a little over 300,000 people in population in Will County in 1990 to 500,000 in the year 2000, and we're just about 700,000 people today. And
could you repeat that? We went from,
right.
See, those numbers are fascinating.
Right, it was about 320,000 people in 1990. In the year 2000, it was a little over 500,000. And today we're just right under 700,000. That's our latest estimate. And there were years during the last decade where there were over 25,000 people a year moving into Will County. In fact, we were leading single-family home construction in the metro Chicago area. For every 3 houses, single-family homes that were built in the Chicago metro area, one of them was in Will County. So I mean, you know, the construction, residential construction, business growth was, for all intents and purposes, certainly in the history of Joliet or Will County, was off the charts. And what was happening is a couple of things. First of all, most of the migration into the county during that period did not come from outside of Illinois or Chicago. It came from other parts of Chicago. So most of the inbound migration was coming from suburbs and counties within the larger Chicago metroplex, unlike a Houston or a Austin or Atlanta or Charlotte, where they were coming from outside of the state.
So was it primarily because you could get more house for the money?
That was a big part of it. It was definitely more affordable. New schools, new shopping areas, a suburban lifestyle, and affordable. Now, coincidental to that, what was happening is Will County was transforming itself from a primarily old industrial agrarian economy to a modern economy, diversifying itself from just manufacturing and petrochemicals to manufacturing petrochemicals, more energy, advanced manufacturing, life sciences, and logistics. Another big growth area for us has been food and food processing. So when the business people got together in '81 around a table like this and said, we can't let this happen again to our Joliet, our Will County, their primary mission at that time was, we have to diversify the economy. Joliet, Will County can no longer be a one-horse town. So if you fast forward 34 years to 2015 and you look back, you look at the sort of the pie of the economic structure today in Will County, we have fulfilled what those original founding fathers of the CED were looking for. We've got high growth areas, high job growth areas in life sciences, in transportation and logistics, food processing, business services. We are creating, and what's interesting, a lot of people when they think about Will County don't think about an explosion of entrepreneurs. We have over 20,000 businesses in Will County today. That's up from, my guess is somewhere around 5,000 or 6,000 back in 1980. The majority of those businesses are very small businesses, under 5 employees. And so when you look at the fabric of what the economic makeup of Will County is today, yeah, you see the big distribution centers, and you see the inland port, and you see the big chemical factories, and the nuclear plant, and the energy plants, you know, and what's left of our manufacturing, the Caterpillars, et cetera. But most of what's going on in this economy, to a large degree, is kind of invisible. People don't even see where these people are working. A lot of that has to do with technology, the internet, But our primary success that we can attribute to what's been going on here is our location. Our location relative to the Chicago area. We have all of the benefits of living in a world city, but you don't have to live in the city to enjoy them, okay?
So you're talking about the river and the railroads and...
Right. Right, and so if you look at Will County, first of all, we're the largest land mass in the Chicago metro area. We have the most available land left to develop within 35 miles of the loop. Think about that. The history of growth in Chicago, it was western growth, it was northwestern growth, it was northern growth, Lake County, DuPage County, McHenry County, all the way out to Kane and Kendall County. And growth stayed away from the south and the south suburbs. There's a lot of reasons, some cultural, some racial, some economic. There were barriers. And the reality is Will County was sort of trapped in that South Chicago, not quite the western suburbs. Well, and it was the development community that figured out, wait a minute, we've got better location assets than most of the rest of the area, most of the rest of the Chicago area. And a perfect example of that is the Joliet Arsenal, which was built, first opened right before World War II. Now, if you look at the location of the Joliet Arsenal, it was about 15 miles south of here. And quite frankly, back then it was out in the middle of nowhere. Except,
one might argue it's still in the middle.
except the reason that was selected, because the Department of War did not want to rely on their munitions and bomb factories all to be built on the coasts, because they were exposed to potential sabotage by the enemy. I mean, nobody knew that the war wasn't going to be fought in the United States. Nobody was certain. So what did the Army do? They said, well, we have to build arsenals and bomb factories inland. So what did they do? They looked at where are the best locations from a transportation standpoint. If you look at the history of munitions dumps, arsenals, Army depots, they're all at prime transportation locations. Right here we're at back then in the 40s, we had, what today is considered Class 1 railroads. We had all of the Class 1 railroads converging in Will County. We had a commercial river, the Des Plaines River, which flowed into the Illinois, which flowed into the Mississippi. We had Route 66, the Mother Road. I mean, that was, Main Street for the United States. And Route 6 and Route 52 and Route 53, and you look at, all of the east-west commerce could not go across Lake Michigan. It had to go south. And as Chicago developed, the clearways, the clear paths for commerce went further south, came into Will County. So the reason for a bomb factory in Will County is the reason today why we are the largest inland port in North America. We handle...
Not Chicago.
No, Will County. When you look at international ports, okay, Long Beach, LA, number 1 and 2, New York, Newark, number 3, Will County is number 4 in terms of international containers. Yes. We handled 3 million international containers last year.
Where? I mean, where?
In our 2 intermodal yards. Let me see that map.
Yeah, this is fascinating.
Well,